I'll just say that. Uh, we got a couple who was refused service in Smoothie King. So let's check it out and see what happened.
A man who was refused service at an Ann Arbor Smoothie King for wearing a pump working out on Panda for the first time. The video of the two employees telling him and his wife to leave has gone viral. Smoothie King has apologized, but as Fox News' Scott Wolchek tells us, that apology may not mean too much.
We were just wanting a smoothie, and you literally looked at us, and I asked you if everything was okay. You said we don't feel comfortable serving you because of my husband's hoodie. That is discrimination.
It's a video gone viral. A local man denied service at an Ann Arbor Smoothie King for wearing this shirt. So, what does it say on there?
This shirt says Trump, take America back 2024.
Do you think there's anything offensive about your shirt?
I guess there is to some people.
It's something Jacob Lindemeyer has learned all too well ever since he felt like grabbing a smoothie on Monday at the Jackson Road Smoothie King. He says he goes there all the time, but Jacob was denied his smoothie. What he has received, he says, are death threats.
You better watch your back. We know where you live. And this is like thousands and thousands and thousands of messages. Never in my life would I have ever thought that I would be getting death threats over my political beliefs. Hey, you know that's a crime, right?
It's not.
Discrimination
We
is a
have a
crime.
right to refuse service here, and that's what we're
Not
doing.
due to political views, though. We've worked so hard to get where we're at now. Like I'm an entirely different person than I used to be.
I'll
You're
let you go
muted.
first, Cuzzo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
What do you think?
that's no bueno. I think it's two things happening here. One, yes, the worker was probably triggered, and then two, they got wind of it and made it a story to where it's way bigger than it really was. Like thousands and thousands of death threats from who? Nobody even knows you. How are you getting death threat? I don't get it. And then, yes, you have the right to refuse service to anyone you want to, but if you tell them the reason why, yeah, then you can be sued, because I can feel like I'm being discriminated against, for whatever my religious or political views are, So based on your store policy, how can you refuse me service, especially if this is a public business? So I'm pretty sure they're gonna sue that store, that chain store, and they're gonna get some money for it. They're gonna settle out in court, whatever the settlement agreement is, and it's gonna go away. But just being triggered by a shirt, it's kind of like a black person seeing somebody walking in with like a hoodie on, a white hoodie, and then they triggered by that, because of someone's past, but because everybody believes Trump is racist. That's the talking point. Everybody believes Trump, has ruined America. That's the feeling, that's the sentiment that everybody is triggered as they were told to be, So it's just unfortunate that we see it how we see it.
Yeah.
So what you got, cuz
Down, down.
I think part of the problem is, well, I'm sorry, the first problem I have with this is that it's not your damn store. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not the owner, you're not the franchisee of this location. And I heard this before, and I had to really think about it and consider what this person was saying. This is a different subject, but I'm gonna bring it back. Somebody said that we like to put like black owned or black this, black that, which is cool. But what you do is you limit the amount of people that you know, display or that you want to patronize your business. And so, I get that, a lot of us um don't necessarily like him because we heard we're not supposed to like him, because of some things that he supposedly did in the past and because he was convicted and, because he, did something to black people or don't like black people. Uh, but these people don't have a thought of their own. Like, what you don't have any proof of any of these things. As soon as you start to ask them oh, can you give me examples? Nobody has an example of any of these things that he claims to have. He being Trump, that he claims to have. Nobody wants to give you concrete evidence as to what he did. And guess what? There may be some things that are legitimate, but nobody could tell me what they are. It's usually just derangement. It's usually just uh, you got mental issues. Like that's the Karen to me right there. That girl, she was a Karen. Like, what if I went into a store with a sweater that said Black Power on it with the fist up like that, and somebody refused me service? Let somebody go into a like a location where it's predominantly white, and they got Black Power on their sweater, and they get refused service. Let me find out what happens. Y'all gonna be on their head. Shut this restaurant down. Shut this location down. They shouldn't be in business no more. Let that happen. But it's okay that this man and his wife get denied a smoothie because of the sweater he had on. And it wasn't anything derogatory. Now, if I had said FBs or something like that, or these ain't SHI, like, okay, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. But I go back to it. This is not your location to deny service. They didn't do anything wrong. They didn't cuss you out. They didn't off. They even after you denied them service, they didn't say they was gonna fight you. They didn't say they didn't do anything egregious, but you just got triggered because of what type of sweater he had on. And to go back to what I was saying before, black owned, we only allow certain people, we cut down on the people that we have patronizing our business, which is guess what? Cutting into the money. You deny people with Trump only sweaters on is cutting into the money. And the worst thing about it's not your money. Is it ain't your policy to deny them service because of that? I mean, I guess it may not say what. Maybe it's a something that you use best judgment about. But was that bitch with your best judgment? The manager supposedly got triggered about his sweater, and you tell him to get out. Bye. And the problem with this is that I really didn't want to do this because I didn't want to give her any more uh publicity that she already has. Because I'm sure her social media is trending. I'm sure, people are commenting on her post. And so guess what? That's putting dollars in her pocket, which makes her probably think that she's right. She's 100% wrong in this instance. And, somebody needs to tell her. But maybe she doesn't have anybody around her to tell her that she's wrong because they believe the same thing that she does. And supposedly, I don't know if you heard because I was supposedly, she and the other lady was fired, for that. And the Smoothie King supposedly uh, apologized to the individual. Man, I want unlimited smoothies for life. That's what I want. Hey, we settle out of court. Hey, I need unlimited smoothies. What is that until I want? Whatever I want in them. I need unlimited smoothies for life. And I need to be able to pass that down to my son. Hey, when you go in here, you go to Smoothie King. I don't care if they change the name. Hey, we need that smoothie. We need it. Yes, sir. So, you have anything else, Cole, you wanted to share on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just hypocritical, when you on one end allow something to happen like this, and then on the other end you want outrage, you want marches in the street, So let the door swing both ways. Is what I would say. I get the sentiments. I get in terms of the history, it's not considered the same thing, but essentially it is. When you deny somebody the right, you know, to do what they do, it's just like you know that that scene in life. I came in here to get some pie and a cup of coffee. We've been driving for a long time. It's a white only pie. Well,
How
how
much
much
do
is
I
it gonna
gotta give
cost?
you, right,
Mm-hmm.
to make
To turn
these
them into some nigga pies, you
right?
know. How about I
Oh
turn y'all
man,
into some nigga pie? You're like, you said about 30 miles down the road? Okay, go that way.
right. Let me. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Peace
How
out.
far you down? You said that was? Yeah,
Yeah. You say, what, about
yeah,
30 miles? All right, I'm going to get on out of here. So essentially, we can say, yeah, that's the same thing, which we understand it's not in terms of, the gravity of it, but merit wise, it can be considered the same thing, or it is the same thing because you're denying somebody the right to patronize a public location, in a free country, and then you're doing that based on your feeling on their political views, not the color of their skin. I get it, but it could be, the lines can be drawn or it can be blurred and say, yeah, because I'm white and I had a Trump shirt on. They can keep saying one thing after another, or they can say another thing or another thing.
right.
So, yeah, where do you draw the line?
Yeah, and I'll just say this, man. I know I might get a bad rap for this, but they might call me a COO. You know what I'm saying? Let me put on my glasses so I seem non-threatening. Uh, uh,
So,
I have, I would say, when I was younger, experienced some people of another race saying things to me, like maybe a couple times. I have, just be honest, but they never said it face to face with me where I could actually do anything about it.
of course
Um,
not.
right, right. Uh, but I would say this: we always like to hold those people accountable, but we rarely want to hold some of our people accountable because I know in my family I've heard some crazy things said about the other color, and no, and it's fine, and nobody says anything because it's what we could do, and it's allowed to be said without anybody addressing it. And so we like to call them racist or bigots or whatever you want to call it, whatever term you want to add to it. But we have a lot of that going on in our families, in our culture too, and it's not addressed. Anyway, I'm not gonna go deep in that because y'all gonna be on my head. But man, I'm we need to be 100 though. It happens.
Yeah.
We call them Brits. You know what I'm saying? We call them uh we talk about how they dance, we talk about a whole lot of different things, you know what I'm saying? That we may not deem as that, but it could be looked at if they said the same thing about us, it'd be a problem. Just saying.
Yeah, but they have though. So that's the back and forth we get.
Well, yeah,
We've
yeah,
seen
no,
we've
I
seen
get
we've
that.
seen minstrel shows and blackface performed on
Sure.
stage. So long before, we said anything that was being done to us or said by us. So there is a trail or residue of traumatic experiences that permeate throughout, our existence, our families. So it's easy to trigger one, when you think about or even, mention, racism. It's used as a weapon, instead of a teaching tool. It's used as a weapon against you, for us, however you want to look at it.
And yeah, I agree with you. What I'm saying is I'm saying that it's not looked at as if it's wrong, even though it's residue, even though it's wounds that are probably still open from different generations. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's not looked at as sorry just because we have this residue doesn't mean it's right. Is what I'm trying to say. And it's something that we could be using that energy to push us further forward. And I mean, I have a whole lot. I don't want to go into down that road right now because I want to address these topics, but we should be focused on moving our people forward and not, concerning ourselves with some of that stuff.